The views and opinions expressed on Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar are those of its host and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is May the 14th, the year of our Lord, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and Jeremy's working the computer today. He's all over the place, but he's doing a great job.
I'm all over the place. But
Jeremy, say hello. Say hello.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Your old pal, Jeremy?
So if you're, and if you hang in there, Dr. Schneider will be on.
We all
right afterwards.
Yeah, she's going to be throwing some fists in this week's episode, I'm sure.
Jeremy, just show them if they want to get us on an email. Our email for our podcast people is drkachmar it's up about the third one here. So it's drkachmar at iCloud.com. And we could also give us go to our webpage, which is Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center, which is right below that, Jeremy. Great deal. There it is for everybody. Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com. Get a hold of us there. We really appreciate it. I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar, and I am a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. I practice in Toms River, Bayville, Neptune, basically the Jersey Shore. Right. And I love Jeremy. Please like us and subscribe. Yes, Jeremy. Yes, Jeremy.
Please like and subscribe.
Yes. So, and Jeremy, if you want to use your cell phone, you can just go down to the next one.
Yeah, we got one more request here.
Oh,
please share.
Yes.
Please share, folks. So we are a podcast, and as Dr. Kachmar says, we shoot out. We try to do it regularly every week, and that's right. Now I'm looking at the screen, but we're everywhere. Fine podcasts are found. We'd like you to find a platform that you're comfortable with, and if it's YouTube, subscribe to us. If it's Facebook, like our page. That way you get, and on YouTube, please press that bell notification thing. I know you've heard it on every other YouTube episode and show out there, but that's the real way you're going to be able to know when we're going live.
Yes.
Dr. Kachmar is a surgeon, and sometimes he gets called away, and sometimes he's got to shuffle around when we do a live show. So liking and subscribing and hitting that bell, that is going to ensure that you're always notified a new show is ready for you to watch in your own time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's right, Jeremy. That's right. And Jeremy, we're just going to move your camera here a little bit. I think you're a little bit. Let's check you out again. Yeah, you look a little bit better there. We're losing you there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting taller by the minute.
You're getting taller by the minute. Yeah. So anyway, today we're going to talk about something that's in the news. It's abortion, but we're not going to talk about the politics of abortion. Okay.
No.
We're not going to talk about the law, with regard to the Supreme Court or. None of that. We're not talking. We're going to talk about just the straightforward medical stuff about abortion, because I think it's important for us doctors to chime in there. And Jeremy, let's have the mouse for a second. I think it's important to do all of that. I just want to get rid of this for you, Jeremy, because I think that when you start doing stuff like that, we really need to. Here you go. I think as we have a duty, an obligation to let people understand what we know of from the medical standpoint, and then but again, we don't want to go into the other stuff. So let's look at our whiteboard, Jeremy.
Yeah.
All right. So here's our whiteboard.
Let's go to the videotape.
So abortion. I went into definition. It's a termination of pregnancy. Basically, you're removing the embryo or fetus. Okay.
Right.
And we all understand that. So basically, and you could do it a lot of different ways. But an abortion is basically taking out, removing the fetus, removing the embryo, and getting it, and it terminates that. It kills, whatever you want, destroys. I think the best word is it destroys the fetus. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about why and when. Why and when. Okay? Why when? Can you get rid of scrubbing up that thing on the bottom there?
We'll pull it right off.
Just get rid of it. So why? Why do people? Oh, you got it back in there.
There we go.
Yeah. So why? Question. So why do people get abortions, Jeremy?
Well, there's a multitude.
As many as there are people, there's reasons for abortion.
Yeah.
Okay? One thing that I know from my perspective is a lot of times it's a health issue. Not a lot of times. It could be a health issue. The mom is in trouble. The baby's in trouble. There's a problem with the health issue. Mm-hmm. And so that is one area where abortions are utilized, okay, for the health of the patient and the baby. And if you look at New York state law, they'll allow an abortion on demand up to 24 weeks, which is about 6 months, okay? Mm-hmm. And then after that, it's if the mother or fetus health is at issue. Now, I don't know what that means as far as, how liberal they are and what kind of scenario, but there is limitations to a certain. I mean, everybody's fighting over where it is, but I just looked at the law, and that's what it's saying. So again is why. So right. Health is one thing, and then also the other thing that I see is the why is a big thing is inconvenience. Right. And a lot of people say, what is inconvenience? That word is not really nice. Well, let's just say you're a high school cheerleader and football player. You both are 16 years old. You have a baby. Is it, it's inconvenient. Right.
It's an ugly word though, inconvenient, isn't it? I mean, if you really think about it and how many ways we use that word, it's never a good thing.
Well, Howard Stern. I was listening to Howard Stern. I don't listen to him that often, but I get clips from him, and he said, always let them. If they have just no abortions, there'll be who's going to take care of these unwanted kids. Mm. And then I heard another
ugly phrase, man.
I heard another. Yeah. Well, it's sad. Then I heard another person say, well, there's a shortage of formula, and so maybe you can't afford kids.
Formula right now is awful, and of course.
But they're saying though, Jeremy, what they're saying is, well, because of that, that's another reason to have an abortion. This way, because you can't feed your kids. I'm just saying, is inconvenience. There's a million reasons, financial. Think about
peer pressure will do it.
Right.
You see all of your friends. They, if you're a young girl who had a indiscretion with a young man, you might get pregnant, and you've got your whole life ahead of you, and then there comes the fear.
Right. Well, there's also things like rape.
There's things like rape,
incest.
I think a lot of us. Are more comfortable with.
Don't say comfortable with rape for abortion.
No, comfortable with abortion when it comes to topics like rape and incest and stuff like that.
So getting back to the board. So inconvenience. There's a million reasons, inconvenience, you're working, you don't want to have the baby, like Howard Stern says, unwanted children running around, right. Maybe, inconvenience, my point about that is that's a slippery slope.
Yes, it is.
Because, and that's why I want people to understand, from what we're talking about here is why an abortion is done, what an abortion is, and some of the what's in law right now. We go back to our so why and when. So the why we're still on. We didn't get to the when yet. So the why. health reasons. Okay. Well, I think health reasons are
Health reasons are another reason to consider it,
you could play games with that, but I think bona fide, I think that's reasonable. I think most people are saying, listen, if the mother's life is truly in danger or the baby's, so far gone, there's and
in that situation, I believe that the female would be working with her doctor, and both of them trying to discover what the best route for them would be.
Right.
And yes, abortion could possibly be a choice.
Well, we're saying the inconvenience aspect. You don't like that word. Yeah. And I know friends of mine. They adopted a baby from it was an open adoption, I believe, and it was the scenario I made. It sounds funny, but cheerleader and a football player. Right. They were 16 years old. And they gave the baby away. They stay in contact with the people who are raising the baby. And it turned out to be a really nice scenario. But that is one place where it didn't turn out to be an abortion. It could have been, but it turned out to be an adoption. And that's another thing that I want to throw out. There is alternatives to abortion. We didn't get into that yet. But alternatives to abortion or adoption. But again, it's just a thought. It happens. It happens. Quite a lot.
And folks, and this is just me. This is just me. And if you do find yourself with a daughter, or if you are a young girl listening to this, and you do get pregnant and you don't know what to do. First off, I would say, talk to people you trust. A counselor would be very important to help you decide what is right.
Well, family. Talk to your mother, father, brothers, sisters, family.
As far as the why, right?
Well, we didn't get to that yet. Well, the why.
The why. We're still working on the why.
Why?
I was listening to the 5 in the week, and Greg Gutfeld came up with a very interesting reason for why not, okay? Because when you're young and you have these fears and you have these peer pressures and you have what you thought was the whole rest of your life, and you now all of a sudden you think you don't because you got a baby here under whatever circumstance. You have to also understand that your points of view now and the reasons for you to get one now may not be what you're going to settle with down the road.
Right.
So maybe say later in life you get a kid, and then you realize just what you lost or you gave away. So counseling is going to help you a great deal, I believe, during that. For those of you who are confused and you're really worried about doing the right thing.
Right. Well, there comes the whole issue for
yourself and for the baby inside.
And here's the thing about that. I don't want to get into legality of it, but if you're 18 years old, under 18, you can't sign a contract, you can't buy a house, you can't drive a car for that. Well, 16. But my point is that for 16,
but you can't be 15, a parent.
Yeah, and so to make the decision whether or not you can have an abortion, that's another whole issue. But let me get back to the thing about the why. The why. We talk about medical stuff, and this is the other side of the coin. Abortion is if it's done by a professional, it's a very, very safe procedure for the most part.
Yeah.
Pregnancy, people die from pregnancies. Now, not as much anymore, but it's still more dangerous than an abortion. So I'm playing the devil's advocate here.
Sure.
I'm talking about it from a medical standpoint, the reality, the facts.
100%.
I looked at the literature again. It looks to me like an abortion is safer than a pregnancy. That's number one. Number two is, I don't know the numbers. I looked at a lot of different things, but there are a certain amount of miscarriages. That's basically it's abortion. The body rejects, or the child, they have a miscarriage. A lot of times it has to do with your blood. It has to do a lot of things. And there are a certain amount. I've seen, 10%, 20% in the literature. I don't know, but it happens spontaneously.
Right.
Okay, so just giving you this whole thing from a medical standpoint, what I know. Again, not the politics, who has the, So now you're talking about the why. again, there's a lot of reasons why it happens. Sometimes without just medical issues. You also have inconvenience, which I think we don't like that terminology. I think that having an abortion because it's inconvenient, you really should look at that.
The word itself is selfish, isn't it?
Well,
yeah. I mean, it's self-serving. It's not about anybody else but yourself, and that's what I don't like about inconvenience, because I don't consider the things I do for others or anybody inconvenient. Like, I think everything means something.
Ergo,
on some level.
Ergo, you're not inconvenient.
I'm not. I try not to be. Although my wife would say different, but still.
Let's again, I'm trying not to bang on the door of politics here, but
it's hard.
When
it's
abortion,
hard to skirt the politics in this.
Here's the thing, though. I'm 65 years old. When abortion first came out, first of all, there's been abortions, back alley abortions. People died.
Sure.
You don't want to have that. You don't want to have people doing back alley abortions. What I mean by that is not somebody who's qualified. Women will die, everybody. Yeah. We don't want that either. But getting back to when it first came out, a lot of times abortions were thought of a way to control a certain population. Now, back in the 40s, they had a thing called eugenics, where they were taking people that they considered undesirable. And that could have been, back then, gay, black, whatever. Anything, and they would do vasectomies on them. They would sterilize them. Same thing with women. Okay? Hitler took it to the next extreme. They had, before they were killing the Jews, they had the Department of Euthanasia. You don't want a baby, get rid of it. The baby comes out, it's not blonde, blue eyes, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're an old geezer, why spend all that money for nursing homes and, care? Just get rid of you. And of course, what happens is you get the slippery slope, and before you know it, you're knocking off the Jews. It goes from that to that. And that's what's, I think, happening a little bit in this country. We're pushing it. If it's okay to, get an abortion at 14 or say 22 weeks, well, why not all the way to, the 9 month, and
that's what they're talking about now.
All right. Well, and so let's get back to our board here. So the why, and we'll talk about the when, and that when is really the key here. So the why, I think, is inconvenience, maybe as a way to control from a governmental standpoint, populations. It certainly has been in the past. I'm not saying they're doing it now, but there has been in the United States. It controlled population. They didn't do abortions; they were doing vasectomies and tying the tubes.
Right.
Forget about and that's another interesting thing when we talk about abortion, and there are ways to prevent pregnancy other than a condom or you can get a hysterectomy. Your tubes tied. You could vasectomy, and a lot of people do that. And there's there's health issues with that also. So I'm not saying that so people are concerned. It's a problem. But again, the why I don't like this inconvenience thing. And I like when Howard Stern said, "Who's going to take care of all these kids?" That's a societal issue that we have to decide.
I always think that is a cop-out phrase as well. Who's going to take care of them? We do have departments and we do have counseling that helps women decide, and then we have families in dire need for children. They dreamt their whole lives. Now, for whatever reason, mom is barren or dad is sterile, they can't have it. So these babies are important. These babies can be loved, and they can find a place in our world.
Well, that's adoption. So that's an alternative to abortion.
But
we should be pushing that out there. So let's go. So let's now talk about the big thing here.
Adoption should be a bigger and more important choice than really anything else, because then you don't have to live with whatever you think is inconvenient, and you can actually walk away feeling good that the life that you brought into the world is going to flourish.
Well, that would be our opinion, but in my research on this.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons for an abortion, that you don't want to have the baby adopted by somebody,
right?
Because you're afraid of the outcome that if you can't take care of the baby and or also, you don't want to bring the baby into this world. There's a million reasons why. Question is, I just want people to think about the reasons why they're doing it. And is it because you are terminating a life. Okay, you're terminating now, and I'm not saying no abortion, but I'm just pointing it out.
Well,
there are alternatives.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. You're saying it terminates a life, and then the argument is, are you indeed?
Okay, so stop. Let's go. So now let's go to when. So let's because
that's what's
I want to. I don't want to get it like I said. I don't
Yeah.
want to get into the rights issue, the law. So let's say when.
Yeah.
Now you have the extremes. You have from the point where, on demand until the baby is born. Okay,
Right,
an abortion until the baby's born. All right, or the other extreme is no abortion at all.
Because those two were heavily extreme. Until the baby's born is heavily extreme.
Okay, but also is heavily extreme is probably no abortion at all.
Well, that would be the opposite, right? That would
Yeah,
be
that's extreme too. I'm telling you right now. I think most people in the world have a middle of the road idea about abortion like I do. I don't think because when you have something, the mother's dying, and an abortion will save her.
Right.
I'm a doctor. I'm going to save the patient. But I'll tell you another thing about it also. When I have a patient who comes to me who's pregnant, we had, don't use any names, but I mean, good example. I had a girl not too long ago who broke her ankle, and she's pregnant, and she was the first trimester.
Yeah.
Now, if I operate on her with general anesthesia and a chance of surgery, I could hurt that baby.
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, she needed the surgery. We just kind of, put the ankle back to, best we could in a cast and called it a day. Now, when you talk to an OBGYN or any doctor, orthopedic, cardiac, when we get a pregnant woman, we are treating two patients, two.
Right.
That's the way we look at it. Okay, I don't care if I don't care, 2, 3 weeks, 5, whatever. My opinion, the way we look at that is we have a baby. Now, of course, the parents want to protect that baby. If I do something to hurt that patient, I give the wrong medication or we have a surgery and that baby dies, they're going to come after me for malpractice.
Why?
Because I killed the baby. I mean, we damaged, we hurt, the baby died because of our care. We have to make sure they understand. Like I'll have patients who say, listen, if we operate on you, go into general anesthesia, and if you get an infection, that could jeopardize the baby.
Yeah, I wanted you to say, I asked why, because that is the, that's the censure right there. Because if you're doing something and say whatever the situations are, anytime you cut into somebody, there is a chance of things happening, whether it's the doctor's side of it or not. It could be just that.
Well, it's the medication. I mean, we're going to give you general anesthesia,
but
yeah, I'm sorry. We don't have to get into the medical why. I mean, but it can happen.
No, yeah, it can happen, and it's that's what they say. Shit happens sometimes, and but how different is it from somebody aborting a baby at that same time, the age of the baby that was accidentally hurt or damaged?
Right.
Okay. So a woman takes herself to a facility that does let them abort that late into term, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well,
See, you're gonna get your ass sued off because there was an accident there.
Well, they wanted to have the baby. The whole key there is they wanted to have the baby.
Again, another self-serving thing. But like we say with our free speech, you have to protect all sides and every side.
Right.
And the why we pointed out on the dry erase board, okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah. Well, those people understand that from a doctor's standpoint, who's treating pregnant women. I'm not talking about an OBGYN who's treating, because they're going to deliver the baby.
Sure.
Or, I'm talking about like other specialties. We look at it as another person. I that's how you have to look at it. And so I think that's just want to throw it out. Think about that because there are other levels of intervention. There's other ways of looking at it. And when it comes to like the civil law, I know there's other places where I think like in New York State, if you're doing crack cocaine and you're pregnant and the baby dies because of you doing the crack cocaine or whatever drugs, you might be able to be charged. I don't know. Maybe New York you're not, but I think other states you can. Now we're getting into the law. I don't want to get down into that. I'm just saying from my perspective, when I have a pregnant woman in my office, I am not treating one person, I'm treating two.
Right.
That's how I look at it. That's how I deal with it. That's how I have to deal with it. Now, if she decides, and I don't even know, I mean, I never had it where I said, listen, this procedure could kill the baby, and then they're like, well, do it. Unless it, again, there you are with saving the mom's life. And then you become, that's where I say health issue is one reason why you do an abortion. Let's get back to, let's just say the when now. Let me just.
Go for it.
So now you got, the thing they talk about is viability. Yeah. Viability. Okay? Now I'm not even getting into when is it considered a human being? Is it, some people use this word unborn baby, some people use fetus. I'm not going to get into that. I mean, to me, I just want to try it from a medical, so people listen to this purely medical scenario. Viability, word just used viability. And the definition of that is how old can the baby be, the fetus, the human fetus, and survive outside of the wound? In other words, say the woman gets in a car accident, they have to do a C-section or it's a preemie. It get 22 to 24 weeks. So basically around 5 months, maybe 6 months. Okay? That baby could probably be outside the wound. Now, if you look at New York State, that's why they come up with their like 24 weeks. You could end the pregnancy up until the point where they believe the baby could be viable. And then after that, if you want to have an abortion, it's got to be for the health of the parent.
What's the viability? What are they meaning by that word?
That baby could live outside of the wound. You could open up, you could take a C-section, take the baby out of the woman, and it could put it in a machine. It will take a lot to keep that baby alive. Yeah. You're not going to just, put it in a crib. It's got to be, it's a preemie. So intense care in a hospital, but it could survive. So what we're doing is we're talking about, so that right now, like I said, I'm using New York State because it's close to us. I don't even know what New Jersey, but it's so basically 5-6 months you could have an abortion on demand, no questions asked, whatever for whatever reason, health, convenience, whatever. After the 24 weeks, it appears that it has to be for health reasons.
Right.
Now, again, I don't know what those health reasons are. I didn't research it. It could be anything. But
the mother might, if there's a risk, the mother might die during pregnancy. That's a choice that needs to be made. Yeah.
Right. So then you could have. So now you could have. So I'm just telling you what the law is. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. If you're 9 months pregnant and if the situation is where the mom could be dying, and you could save the mom by aborting the fetus, it's illegal. It's legal. It's not, again, I'm just telling you what it is. Now, you got that's New York State, and that's how it kind of goes. And every state has different levels. Now you got the new thing, which is real controversial, but they say when, and they talk about a heartbeat. Now, forget about the law. We're just talking about, these are, when is viability? Yeah. So then they come out with the heartbeat law. And I just want to let people know, the heartbeat, it looks like it's about 21 days, maybe a little bit longer, roughly 5 weeks, like a month.
All right. Okay? So a month it gets a heartbeat.
Right. I want to make another point. So that's one thing that they're talking about. Okay, we're gonna stop, we're going to, no abortions after a month, okay? Just so people understand it, that's about a month time. The other way to look at it, another medical terminology or I don't say fact, is the feasibility of the fetus in the wound. In other words, the first trimester, what I understand, I'm not an OBGYN, I'm a foot and ankle surgeon, but what I read in the literature I look at says basically the first trimester, so you got trimesters, so it's 9 months, so the first 3 months is shaky. Yeah. There's a certain amount of people that lose their babies in that 3 months. Once you get past the 3 month stage, unless something really happens bad, usually the baby goes to, gets born. I mean, gets what's it, to
viability.
It'll be, so 3 months. Okay. So now so let's just look at what we're talking about here. So you got the heartbeat a month, you got outside the wound 5-6 months, and you got if you pass the 3-month time, you're doing pretty well. The baby should, go pretty far. So what I see and what it's been, and I remember when I first looked at this, and it's been for many, many years, is roughly 3 months. And I think I talk to a lot of people, doctors, people who are religious, everything.
Yeah.
And I don't have too many people who are like it's a necessary evil, abortion. I think it's wrong, but I think people have the right to an abortion, especially in the early stages. It's the late stages where I think a lot of us are like, whoa. So what I'm saying is, it used to be for a long time, the 3 months, basically the first trimester. If you decide on having an abortion, the first 3 months.
Right.
But now it's being pushed. Now it's being pushed both ways. It's being pushed to for 1 month, and it's being pushed to 6, 7, 8 months.
Nine
months.
They're talking about. Yeah.
And I just want people out there to step back and just slow down on the law. The justices and what they're. I'm not a lawyer, and also the rights. Who has the rights? Does the baby have the right? Does the mother have the right? You could talk all about that. And we could go from when is it? At the heartbeat, does it have a life, right?
This is when I wanted to bring in my little thing. I've been thinking about this since we decided we were gonna have a show about it.
Right.
And I was talking to my dad actually, and I'm spitballing how I'm feeling and stuff because I used to feel differently about this. I was always pro-choice. Whatever the woman wants, it's her body, her decision.
Right.
And when I was young, I had, and this is me opening up a little indiscretion, and the girl I was with had gotten pregnant.
Jeremy, I just picture that right now.
Yeah. And
I'm kidding.
No, I dig it. No, But I'm like,
it happens. It happens. So there you go.
Yeah,
it happens.
I'm trying to be noble. I'm trying to be
right
by her, what her choice is.
Right.
So it happened, and but on my end of it, inside, which I only ever internalized.
Right.
It didn't really sit right with me. And
it's a tough decision, no doubt about it.
I've thought about it so much over the years, but while I was talking to my dad, back to that, I said to him, and this is interesting. I'm gonna get through this whole thought. It may skirt the politics slightly, but it's not going to be too much. At what point, for instance, Mike, are you now? Say somebody brings in their dog to you. Okay, and the dog something's wrong with the dog, and they're asking you to look at it. You're not a veterinarian, are you?
Mm-mm.
No. So there's something wrong with the fetus inside, one of the fetuses inside of the dog. You wouldn't really even begin to know what to do, right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, you wouldn't, right? So that begs the question: at what point is a fetus human?
Well, that's a $50 million question.
So now, I hold on. No, I told you. I said, like with a dog fetus,
right,
you would not have anything, but with a female one, you might have a better shot, or you'd be able to point somebody in the right direction. So then I started thinking, because of what we've been talking about from weeks now about rights and human rights, inalienable human rights. So if this fetus is a human fetus, which I think we can all agree upon, at what point do those inalienable human rights kick in for that fetus? You want to click onto my phone?
Well, before you click on the phone, just hold that thought for a minute. That's the $50 million question, okay?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that I think that, like Clinton, I remember President Clinton, he said, abortion should be rare, and they should be, we should push adoption. But nobody, you show me what you want to show me.
Yeah.
But the Bible, I mean, from a religious standpoint, no abortion is right.
Right.
But I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about the real life.
That's what I'm going to bring into here.
We do a lot of things. I mean, it's sad that we have to kill cows and pigs and to live to eat, and we still execute people. But I think that my perception, my thing here, I just want people to sit back and go, listen. Where the argument is really coming down to, and you're going to give me some information, is most people will say, listen, we don't like abortion, but we understand there's certain situations where it's necessary, it's reasonable, it's better, it's the lesser of two evils. Listen to me, it's the lesser follows, and then you show me lesser of two evils. But we're having this discussion now. One group is pushing us, to no abortions, and then the other group is pushing us to abortions and maybe knocking off the kid.
But here's the thing, though.
So what are you going to tell me now? Show me. Go to your.
I started thinking about at what point are these human? Because nobody's talking about that.
No,
nobody's talking about.
Well, no, they are talking about it.
No, not in the sense of is it human or not? Because if it's human,
everybody's focused on the law right now and human rights, their rights.
If it's human, okay. Then humans, all of them, have inalienable human rights.
Right, we understand that.
Let's hang on. Let's pop it up here.
Well, that's the whole argument. That's where the argument is. It's because that's why abortion is so charged, Jeremy. It's you have another potential human being in you, and women have that. It's obviously not men, but the men had to contribute. A woman is not going to get pregnant without sperm from a man. No, I hate to tell you, I know that for a fact. That's a medical issue.
All right, let me get
I
through
guess
this.
you could make something. Go ahead.
Let me get through this. So this is 30 basic human rights list. Here are a full list of 30 human rights according to Universal Declaration of Human Rights by United Nations, signed in Paris on 10th of December, 1948. So this is immediately after World War II. These rights were determined to be inalienable human rights. Okay,
so read that. Yeah, read the next.
Yeah, so we see in the first one, all human beings are free and equal. All human beings
are born free and equal.
No, it just says
No, it says
yes,
born.
It does say that, but down the line on this list here, they show you where is it? Innocent until no trial by right to privacy, freedom to movement and residence, right to I think it's higher up. Oh shoot, hang on. Right to life. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person.
But go back to the other thing. See, I'm going to give you go back to
no discrimination. No, hold on a second. This goes into it too. No discrimination. That's number 2. Okay, everyone is entitled to all rights and freedoms without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Now, look at how they've grouped those two things together. Birth or other status. That is a little broad, I understand, but...
No, it's a broad... Go back up to the top, though. Go up to the top.
Yeah.
Go up one more. Just go up. Go up to the top. And you got to understand something here. See, all human beings are born free. Mm-hmm. They're not really... They skirted the issue as everybody does. And again, getting back to the whole thing, I understand... If you decide... Here's the thing, Jeremy. There is no easy answer to this because we don't know when you have.
But it does say we should all act towards one another in a spirit.
Yes, but
of brotherhood.
It's after you're born. But they don't.
I think further down on this list it expands beyond birth. All right, or other status.
No. It has to go before birth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or other status. Well, that's what it's saying. Or other status.
Yeah, I understand. But
at what point, though? I mean, you can't look at it. You can't look at a fetus without one determining what type of fetus it is. It's human.
Okay, all right. Let's take the phone off. So what I understand where you're coming from, and this is where, if you're going to try to get common ground here, and because if you say that, then there is no abortion should be allowed whatsoever.
Well, I mean if
the time of conception, okay, the baby that is a human being, then they have the right to not have an abortion. They have a right to live. A woman has a right for an abortion, then the child has a right.
It does.
But again,
cut down
a lot
on the arguments, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but there's no way. Again, you're getting back to an issue where the baby will not survive outside the womb. So you have the other side of this argument has really good information, facts that are compelling. Both sides have it. That's why I'm saying the only way to deal with this abortion issue, in my opinion, is a compromise, which we've had. Mm-hmm. And I know people are going to get mad at me, but I'm just saying is that I think there is a area, a place from a medical standpoint for an abortion. It's a medical procedure. But I think it's a lesser of two evils. I would prefer not to have any abortions. I wish we didn't have to have guns. I wish cops didn't have to shoot people. I wish we didn't have to, a 9-year-old kid die of cancer. I wish we could, there's a lot of things in life that are really, bad. Why do people die in car accidents? Why, we have 110,000 kids OD in last year in this United States. I understand. It's all getting down to that. So again, I just want to make the point here because I don't want to take this program too long. But if you look at the science, go back to our whiteboard, and this is all I'm just saying is the why. I think we should be doing less abortions because of inconvenience. All right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
All right, and maybe more for health reasons. I mean, I seen girls when I was doing my training having the 5th, 6th, 7th abortion and using it as birth control. That's wrong. Right. Okay,
well, see,
indiscriminate.
That's
indiscriminate. No, but
just hear me out for a second, Mike. I understand what you're saying, and you kind of shut down my speech there, but. I really think if we all as a people started thinking of each other more as human beings and the lives that we carry.
Yeah, you're hitting the dude. You're doing the same thing I do.
Like this. Yeah. If it's a human life, we're human beings. We're trying to create laws that govern human nature.
Right.
And
don't hit the table
and stuff like. I'm pounding, man. I'm pounding. But I mean, that's the thing. This is why it's such.
Jeremy,
this is why it's such a tender subject.
So here's the thing,
for people,
right? And it sounds to me.
But I believe human rights should be
inalienable. Then you don't believe in abortion, then.
Well, that's the thing. I'm evolving. You have to understand that. When I was a Democrat, I believed in pro-choice.
Don't hit the table.
I know. I'm sorry. And then I'm a passionate man here. Okay. And then
that's where it happens. As
politics changed, the world changed around me, and I started thinking of things a lot differently than I ever did before.
Right.
And so now, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where I am, but I do know, feeling inside me, just the idea of it being human.
Yeah.
Right? And me believing heavily in those rights that we have.
Right.
I don't know. Mike.
Well, I think I represent, or I hope I do, I hope I represent the mainstream, the majority of people. And what I would say is this, is I've seen situations where an abortion was the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. Well, okay. Sometimes there are exceptions to the rule.
Right. Yeah. And also I've seen abortions that were, to use the word, an abortion.
Of an abortion.
An abortion. And it was abused. And I think what's happening is
taken lightly, you
right.
mean, to get rid of like taking an aspirin to get rid of a sniffle or something or whatever.
And I think that's wrong too. Yeah. I think that inconvenience should be the last resort. I think that abortions as Carter, not Jimmy Carter, the president, Carter.
Yeah.
First name escapes
Jimmy Carter.
Me. No, not Jimmy. I'm Clinton. I'm Bill Clinton. It's going to be Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton
of saxophone fame
said, he basically, I remember he was talking about, he said, abortion should be rare. I think we should be pushing, try to have the least amount of abortions that's possible. Try to give people alternatives to abortion. Try to have adoption as a more of a what do you call it? An option to these patients and people. Yeah. And not
late term abortion should not be compared to, say, the morning after pill. It's not on the same level. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. But also, Jeremy, I think people should pause. What you're saying and I'm saying is that this is a life. We don't know, what level. I mean, it's a human fetus. It definitely is. It's a human being. Yeah. Whether or not it's a whether or not it's a it's they're using the word unborn child. Well, really, that's kind of like, in my opinion, a little bit too much, because until 6 months, you take that baby out, it's going to die. It's not going to survive. But here's the thing: you say evolving. What about 100 years from now? We're probably able to, take that baby out and put it in an environment and save it. So let me ask you this: we talk about viability. A lot of people use the viability. See what it says where, when, viability, 22 weeks. Yeah. What if the viability of a fetus outside the wound is 1 month? What would you say then? Can you still have an abortion? Now, that's a human being. So you could take that, a lot of people say, well, once that baby is born, it's a human being. If you just quoted the World Health Organization. Yeah. And they definitely say, listen, when you're born, you have all of these rights and the right to live. Yeah. The right to live and live in dignity.
And I still think
now you could say, but you make a point. That if that's the case, then what they're saying is, if I could say a baby is 6 months is viable, then that baby 6 months and on has the right to live.
Right.
All right. If you go by
but you know what though? You know what? Viability is really just a geographical location. That child is inside of a belly. That's it. Take 3 steps.
Then it's 1 month. After 1 month,
if it took 3 human steps to the left, it'd be outside the belly, wouldn't it? I mean, that's what we're really talking about.
That's why
is placement.
You make a good point, because that's why I say is, well, it's not on this board here, but you made a good point. Yeah. In the first trimester, if you look at the literature, after about the first 3 months, the chances of having a miscarriage and that thing failing is ridiculously low. So you get past the 3 months. So there's another thing, that spontaneous abortion is less and less. So all of these things, I just want to throw it out there to people to understand that this issue. I think really, I try to put things to the smallest denominator.
Yeah, no, I take that.
Get rid of all of the bullshit, and really, at the crux of the argument here, everybody believes, I think, in the world that everybody has the right for life. Yeah. I mean, that's what we believe in this country. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or the 14th Amendment, or the 15th, or I forget, 13th, life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. We believe in life. And the real question here is, when does life start? Does it start at conception? Does it start when the heartbeat? Does it start at 6 months? Does it start at viability? Does it start when you're born? Where does it start? As a doctor, I've seen this. I mean, you look at the ultrasounds. To me, I think it's pretty damn quick. Months, maybe weeks. Maybe 1 month, 2 months.
Well, you said it. If there's a heartbeat, there's life, isn't there? I mean, that's it.
Well, I just want people. I'm not going to sit here and say, you got to do this or you got to do that, or it's your right or you're not right. I'd say people wake up. Just look at instead of getting emotional about this, like you're saying, let's be compassionate. We all.
Well, let me finish. You know what?
God forbid we're killing life. What if it turns out that we're wrong?
You're right.
What if we're wrong?
Because we're supposed to be fruitful and multiply, right? So yeah, what if that is not multiplying? It seems to be the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. But you could argue that. But let me tell you the end of this. So I took my
go ahead.
My fiance at the time. I had a few, and we did it, and we had to go through abortion protesters and stuff like that. And
what year was this, Jeremy?
This
was
a long time ago. This was in
70s.
70s. Jesus Christ.
That's right. That's right. I'm thinking. Yeah, you're.
Trick me, man. Jesus.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So it was in the 90s. Definitely 90s. And I had to step outside while she was in getting it done. I was panicking. I was worrying about her. I'm still not sure if this was the right decision or not, but I had to do right by her, I guess.
Right.
That's what you think when you're younger.
Right.
Do right by the woman. You know, that's
Right.
that's what we were taught to do, really.
Right,
you know,
right.
it's you got to do right by your girl. You know,
Right.
and that's what I did. So I took it. I walked through a door and I ended up in the alleyway, outside, and just to have a cigarette because I smoked at the time. And there was this protesting guy in the alleyway getting his these displays he brings out of what babies look like when they are terminated.
Yeah.
You know, and and each model that he sculpted by hand and painted.
Yeah.
Okay, these horrible things. Okay, he's showing, and he's like, he sees me leaving the building, and he's like, "Sir, did you see that? This is what your baby will look like, after and this and this and this and this."
Oh man!
Now I'm a freaking mess, right?
Oh God!
I'm a mess. I'm like, dude, get away from me, and I go out further, and I'm on the street now with the picketers because the door I left from was an emergency door. I didn't realize, and I couldn't get back in through it. So now I have to go through the picketers.
Did they give you a
and
sign
stuff.
and everything?
Oh my God! There was a homeless guy just marching. He didn't even know what the hell they were protesting, but everybody seemed happy about it when he was in there, you know.
Yeah.
And but it was a nightmare for me. It really was. But I'm thinking about these people. This man, like at his home, sculpted what it looks like for babies to be dead, and then with painstaking accuracy, he painted each one of those models up, giving them the adequate amount of blood and guts and all of that. I mean, it was So what do you think about it now? You know. Well, you
had to do what you had to do. Are you have regret? Or?
Oh, I've regretted it ever since. Yeah.
Here's my thing about abortion right now. Why I try to, compromise to a certain degree, but I want this video cast could last 100 years. I wonder 100 years from now if civilization is going to say, I can't believe that they were killing babies, killing their fetuses. It sounds to me, I think I used to go with my heart. What's wrong? What's right? Again, I don't want to take anybody's rights away from them, but I think we should voluntarily try not to do abortions because I think they're wrong. I think we're killing ourselves. I think I know people who were on the borderline. They didn't get the abortion. And now that child, that grandchild, that niece, that nephew is their light of their life. Yeah. And I sit there, and like you said, we get older, and I think that people, I understand it gets passionate about and inconvenience, and it's a tough decision. There's no easy. Life is inconvenient. Life sucks sometimes.
Sure it does.
But the other side of the coin is
it could be amazing.
Right, it could be amazing. And
it does be amazing.
Right.
And it is amazing.
And like I said, when I get a patient in my office, I'm looking at two people, and I think that when a woman's pregnant, they and I hope they understand that that's another person in there, and it's a tough decision. And I don't know where this is going to go with the law and everything, but I just wanted to say that throw it out there that it should be rare.
Right.
It should not be on demand. And I don't like the people out there who are like, oh, it's just I'm taking a dump or something. I gotta get rid of something.
That's
not.
Well, yeah, like it's like a refuse. Right. It's like refuse, isn't it?
But I think that I'm very proud of this country.
If you're walking away from an abortion after you've got it and you think very little of the baby afterwards, that's worrying. Yeah. That really is.
I think I'm very, like I said, a lot of people think democracy is going. First of all, this is a constitutional republic, but we're going to work through this. I know there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. But
growing up, I was born in the 70s. I grew up in the 80s, right?
Right.
And we always thought like the future was in the year 2000, right?
Yeah, now.
And we thought that's going to be future times. It's going to be more enlightened times, and we really still don't know anything about anything.
No, and I think that, Jeremy, that a lot of people, like, they look at me and they go, oh, you're just some old white guy wants to take rights away from women or anything like that. I don't want to take rights away from anybody. I want people to have. I'm the opposite. I actually want the women to have their right to have an abortion, but also concerned that baby has a right not to get aborted. So I'm looking at everybody's rights. And I always say this when we talk about whether or not it's transgender or anything. It's okay. We want you to express yourself and have your rights until it hurts somebody else.
Yeah.
We talk about a pedophile. A pedophile's born like that, but we don't allow a pedophile to ingratiate themselves and do what they want to do. Right? There are certain, because it hurts people. And we're just concerned that abortions are hurting the unborn. And that's the only thing we worry about. Now, do I know 100%? No. And that's why I say compromise. I think we should, have abortions for health and things of that nature. We do. And there's the reason why. The convenience thing, it worries me a lot. And if I don't want to bring religion into it, but tiny bit, but I am, if people know, watch our podcast, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And we have to think about what we're doing.
I mean, don't mothers talk to their babies while they're in their stomach? Yeah. I mean, that's it. If you can carry a conversation with it, it must be human. Yeah. We're gonna.
Let's pack it in.
Yeah, Dr. Schneider's outside. She's ready to come in.
Right. Well, listen, that very good. Anyway, Jeremy, let's start saying goodbye. I know we're ending this kind of quick, but we have another show. Don't finish it yet. My name is Dr. Michael Kachmar, board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. If you want to comment on this a very lively thing we just saw, you go to Dr. Kachmar at iCloud.com. Dr. Kachmar, iCloud.com. You can listen to our show. We are on Rumble, Facebook, and Facebook. I said YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. Also Spotify and Apple Podcast. We appreciate you listening to us. We do a show once a week. We also have our lifeguard show, and lifeguards off duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar. And we have right now coming up Dr. Schneider with Radio Free America. Yeah. Everyone, thank you very much for listening to us. Jeremy, say goodbye.
Goodbye, Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy, how about taking us out?
All right. Take care, guys.